CFR Network, CFR Sports. Apologies on my late recap. I have had a wisdom tooth extraction, so I have been unable to do pretty much not much at all. It's been very challenging to say the least. And anyone with wisdom tooth pain knows exactly what's going on. So yeah, overall, Bellator Milan, which I was actually let's break it all down. Let's break it all down. I was intending to attend said event in old Milan, be the first time I go into Italy and stuff. And I found the website Bellator. What on earth are you guys doing? Yeah, I couldn't figure out the seating plans properly. It was all in Italian. There wasn't a way to change it to English. It was confusing as hell. And also, it wasn't the cheapest either. Some of the prices were absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, didn't do that, and I'm glad I didn't because, well, actually, let me just say, maybe the being there live would have been a little bit different because the prelims, which wasn't aired, apparently, according to Big John McCarthy, were pretty good. But overall, it was a crap event. I'm sorry to say it was a crap event. The UFC event was crap as well. But there's always a silver lining. There's always a silver lining. Alfred Davies, let's go back to that. Unanimous decision. Excellent performance. Guti he beat. Tiber Guti. That was high. That was a nice little back and forth. Pretty well. It wasn't a back and forth. I mean, he tried, but I would say it was a dominant performance from Alfie. Castillo Van Stevens came in and did the fizzle wiggle with a second round submission. I think it was a Darce choke. So he set the stage and was saying like, "Yo, look what I've done. Let's see how Fabian can do it. Let's see how he can do this here." Which is a little bit of a call out and a challenge. I think he actually defeated Fabian. So, as I say, the rest of the card was crap. Decision. There was a women's fight I watched early, and it looked very amateur. I was mistaken and actually thought it was the main card I was watching. The striking was appalling. No disrespect to the female athletes, but we need to get onto a higher level before you get onto a Bellator card, which is going to be televised as well. I mean, that was crazy, absolutely crazy. Good they got the exposure, I guess, but awful performance in my humble opinion. Again, respect to them for doing it. But let's go on to the fight of the night. Saul Rogers took on Tim Wilde of Wolves/Brum. Very similar records. I think they were both 15-4 each. And I had some conversations backstage, well, not backstage, prior to the event in regards to who would be winning, etc. What the thoughts are, what the keys for victory and success are going to be, etc. And I was saying that Saul's very wrestle heavy. I think cardio is going to be an issue for him. And I think his advantages are going to be not in the striking, but I think he's going to have a little bit more power potentially. And I hypothesize that Tim Wilde is a lot more of a well-rounded fighter and will be able to do what is necessary I didn't think he was going to win, and didn't think he was going to get a finish, but I knew that he was going to win. And it was a nice back and forth, a real nice back and forth. And I even said on the old Twitter, Mr. Stock Coker, sort out the both of them, give them a little bump, because that was one of the most entertaining fights of the whole card. That Van Stevens was a very dominant one as well, I would say. I wouldn't maybe a little something for getting the submission, but he was supposed to. I've never even seen the guy he fought before. Um, but yeah, blood was out. Saul's tough, man. Saul is tough. Tim's tough. But he had a little bit more tools in the bag. A little bit more tools in the bag. Groundwork, um, defensive and offensive wrestling on points. His Tim's doing the thing, man. Growth and development, perfecting the art, staying on the grind. I think Saul needs to lose a little bit of muscle and get a bit more conditioning on the go. And also he needs to improve his striking. We know what his game is, and when he implements his game, he's dangerous. But when you get to a certain level, that ain't always gonna work, unfortunately. So Fabian Edwards took on Charlie Ward, 10-5, 11-2. And I think he's number two now. Is he number two ranking wise within Bellator? It's all confusing how Bellator do their thing. Was the co-main event. Fabian, I think he stunned him at the start, first round. He was on Queer Street. Oh, you can't even say that no more. Sorry. He was on Wobbly Street. He was doing the chicken dance and all that. But Charlie Ward is tough. There was high expectations for Mr. Edwards to have another performance as he did with Lyoto Machida, the Dragon. Maybe not as quick, but we expected definitely a finish. Um, there was also, I think he was in round two when he had him in God, was it a side choke? I think, yeah, I'm sure it was a side choke. Yeah, that should have been finished. That should have been the finish there. It was quite amusing. Round three, towards the end of round three, Charlie Ward was just chatting a whole load of stuff, man. I've never necessarily heard such a clear discussion of sorts with fighters, and he was having none of it, man. He was like, "So you're number two in the world, and you're just gonna hold me down like this?" And Fabian's like, "Well, do something about it then. What do you mean?" Now, again, as stated, number two in the world, we did expect, and I think Big John, and Josh with the allergy issues. I wonder if Josh actually had question. Someone put this in the comments. Sidebar. Do we think Josh the Punk Thompson has like real bad allergy issues? Or and let me preface this because of his constant clearing of the sinuses and you know etc etc. He has seems to have some nasal issues. Now, I've been around a few folk, and from my experiences, it could only be one or two things. Medical conditions, sinuses related, allergies, etc. Or is Mr. Punk Johnson, Thompson even, is he playing with his nose? Hmm? And they were very critical of Fabian. Um, I think a little too much. I think we definitely were expecting a lot more from him, but he's got the victory, he's got the dub. How will this translate in regards to him getting a title shot? We're going to go by meritocracy. Uh, if he's number two, he should be next in line. Main event, real quick. Mr. Piccolotti, which Mr. Josh Thompson is high on, and he's a good fighter, 12-5. Um, Lightweight bout. Mansour making his Bellator debut, and there was making quite a lot about it in regards to his time away from the cage. I think almost 2 years. 2019 was his last fight. And Mansour came in, he 20-4, as we can see. He came in dominant as the performance of the night goes to Mansour. Justly again, he gets the bonus. He gets some kind of additional bonus on top of his show and win money. This crazy pay model that MMA has adopted from the UFC, I'm pretty sure. But we got ourselves very much a new contender in Bellator 155. Very well-rounded, striking's on point, but he's clearly a submission expert, a submission tactician. Very interesting landscape we've got in Bellator at the moment. They've got some real good fighters. I still think their name's crap, but it is what it is. It's an established brand now. But Bellator is good, man. It's good. They just need to sort out the flipping promotion, make things a lot more clearer on the website, make the website a little bit more versatile as well. It's quite clunky to have the kind of backing that they've got. It seems strange. You'd think that you'd be a lot more of a shiny sort of user interface platform, but by the by. Disappointing card for 287 Milan, but as I say, 3 fights stand out on the for that particular card. Trustfully. I mean, let's see what they got next. What they got coming up next. 2 world title fights. The replay of Nemkov and Anderson. Okay, starts. Oh, and then the Bellator versus Heisen. Yes, so we got some bits and pieces, man. Do give me your thoughts. What are you thinking? And again, apologies for the late recap.